Men are struggling profoundly with depression. Men are struggling profoundly with feeling meaningless, like their life is meaningless. They feel like things are purposeless. They don't have drive. They don't have direction. They feel like they're not competent compared to their female counterparts who seem to be getting ahead and doing well. Men account for almost 3 of 4 deaths of despair from either an overdose or suicide. This is men. And the 2 words that showed up more than anything else is useless and worthless. Men psychologically need to feel like they are useful. We need to feel like we are doing something for the world. Right? We need to feel like somebody needs us. A lot of grown men especially, don't have close friends. They can't get jobs, and they struggle with education. What are they going to do but get angry?
Kids are growing up today totally removed from the practical. Talked to a doctor, and he told me he had trouble training interns to sew up cuts because the interns had never used scissors as a young child. Kids today are totally separated in the world of physical things. They're not getting out and observing stuff out in nature. And this brings up a major issue about skill loss.
Almost 1 in 4 boys, 23%, has a developmental disability. A lot of things that are described as disabilities are very much just naturally how a lot of boys are.
The kids are playing video games in the basement on an autism diagnosis instead of fixing elevators.
Men do tend to be more distracted. Men tend to need to be up and around and active more than women do.
The kids are getting screened out of these trades because they've taken the shop classes out of the schools 20 years ago.
So they're put at a disadvantage automatically.
I had a student in my class that had never used a tape measure to measure anything. And they're totally removed from the world of the practical. There's a relationship here between what goes on with industrial things and what's going on at school.
We got to get out of this idea of everybody needs to have a college education.
Everybody thinks they got to go to college. They come out of college and they can't find a job.
Decline in college enrollment was 7 times greater for male than female students. 7 times. That is a really significant figure. Men are less and less inclined to pursue higher education.
The last month, I've had a mechanic come on a plane twice, and both mechanics had gray hair. We need people that can do these things before the power grid and the water systems fall apart. We are paying the price now for taking out those shop classes. Good shop classes cost a lot of money. Now, people are starting to put shop classes back in. And you know what they're finding? They can't find anybody to teach the shop classes. I just heard about a brand new, beautiful welding shop built here in Colorado at a community college, and they can't find somebody to teach it even after they drop the university requirement.
Kids today, there's jobs out there. There's a lot of jobs, but you just can't find somebody to come into the trade.
Men that have been raised poor have a far more difficult time escaping poverty than women who are raised poor. And a lot of that, I think, is having a male role model. Men need to have a strong male role model because we very much follow role models.
There ain't a whole lot of them folks around anymore. Old timers. We need to start listening to them. You'll learn a thing or two.
I'm interested in one thing at the age of 75 of helping the students who think differently get into really good careers where they can have satisfying lives.
You have to be a good person to be around to do well at a working class job.
When you build things and you can touch them, that's a whole different feeling of life, basically. The educations in the trades is just as difficult when you come right down to it. I'm not trying to put down people who want to be lawyers and so forth, but these are mostly kids who want to be engineers. If you're an engineer, you can be a great plumber and run a business that you'll do really well financially.
So to be a really good plumber, then you have to be highly skilled, but you have to be a clear and honest communicator, and you have to play fair in the most fundamental sense and check out how he interacts with his subordinates, and if he's someone who's teaching them, because you can watch that, and doing that in a fair manner and not talking down to them and not manipulating them and not tyrannizing over them. It can't be just reduced to being a good plumber in the technical sense. It's being a good person who happens to be a plumber.
When men feel like they have something to offer, they want to be involved more. How do we do this in the church then? Give men things to do. Make men feel like they are useful and needed in the church. Encourage them.
Because the jobs themselves are quite difficult. They're physically strenuous, they're demanding. And the payoff for that in part can be the camaraderie that emerges as a consequence of the shared enterprise. And that can make those jobs extremely worthwhile. You can make very, very good friends in a working class environment.
It's amazing how one compliment toward a man that he's doing something well will have a profound effect upon him. Men in the church to just say, hey, I saw you had this skill. It'd be great if you would help us with this.
The integrity of our society depends in no small part on the minority of people, and often working class people, who do that sort of thing exceptionally well, right? They're the people who they build everything and they keep everything going.
Just go sit down and have coffee with them. Just start hanging out with them and what they do, and just listen to them and let them talk about their years. And it's amazing the reality of life, the simple truth that you'll pick up along the way.
If you have an opportunity to encourage a younger man, kind of take somebody under your wing in some way, like do it, really do it, encourage them, lead them toward the good, lead them toward community, the church, to Christ, the forgiveness of sins, to meaning, purpose in Christ.
Hello. Stupid YouTube just keeps playing myself. All right. Well, thank you for whoever watched that. You may notice I am in a girly looking room right now because my normal YouTube space has been converted into a space for a baby that is coming in a very short amount of time. So, I kept putting off looking for the perfect moment and then decided I just needed to get on with it. So if you saw that video, I just made that video live on the Tectonic School YouTube channel, which is the name of the project that I've been working on. So you can subscribe there, and in that video link, there's also links to a Discord server and a Substack page. So feel free to sign up if this is something that's been interesting, kind of to hear about. One thing that I really need is people to interview. I see Phlebas is in the chat, and especially because I want to talk to tradespeople and just kind of do some quick interviews, just talking about how it's a meaningful thing for you, how it helps, integrate into your faith life. That's kind of the content that I plan to put out on a regular basis. So I do have some other stuff that I'm going to put out. So if you subscribe, I'll be putting premieres for things in the next few days. And then just looking for people to come on board and help me figure stuff out. But really just especially want to put the call out there for anybody that wants to talk about that. And there is also already some clips from people on that channel as well. Just some discussions that I've had, and different people around this corner talking about things. So that video is really just kind of a teaser. I'll probably put one tomorrow that kind of gives the nuts and bolts for how this little project's going to work. And I have a few more things already recorded that kind of flesh out the idea more. So anyway, Jacob, you are here, I see. So I don't know if you wanted to come on. No, you just wanted to make me watch you eat your dinner in the background. All right. Well, I'm not really going to stick around too much. I just wanted to get this out there so you can find the link and well, what the heck? I'll just put the link out if anybody wants to chat for a few minutes, but yeah. So there's you know, I don't like being the self-promotion person so much, but this is kind of a big deal. If anybody's seeing this, and I'm going to probably repost this again on my channel, just to subscribe, because I want people to see it. You know, I can only do so much by myself, so I really do need the community effort to help kind of get this going. And especially if anybody wants to share any of this stuff with like your local pastors, that's kind of really who it's aimed at, or people in your church. You know, I want to find randos who work working class jobs, and you know, usually those people tend to have a pretty interesting story. They may not realize it, but I think that there's a lot of people that want to hear about that kind of stuff. So, yeah. So, I can show the page so anybody else can see it. And so you can see here on the YouTube page just some other stuff you can check out. Me talking to Burn Power. Kind of, this is when I first came up with the idea. And then Billy is a guy who he heard about the idea and came on Jacob's channel, and we've been chatting a little bit and going back and forth. And he has some really good stuff to say. So I would recommend watching that video, you know, because this kind of started as an idea of like a trade school, but it could even just be something as simple as like, you know, people getting together and volunteering to help people in their community. You know, like if you're in a local church, there's elderly people that need stuff, need help around their house, help with their yard. Getting young people involved in learning how to do some of those skills from you know, more experienced people. Trino asked if there is a video that covers my trade skill background. I do have a little bit of something on my channel. I made a video about like how to get into the woodworking business, a little way to break in for somebody who was trying to get started. I do plan to make a bigger one because part of the way this thing's going to work is I don't really want to make like my living off of making videos or running an organization. I actually want to start my own little local instance of this program here in my city, because the idea is that there would be I'm just going to create some tools and equip people, and they can set up their own program in their own hometown, their own church. Anybody that has a company or who does this kind of work, or like I said, even if it's on the side, if they're doing it on the weekends, it's just a way. I just want to create some tools for people to kind of build their own thing. But because I want to have skin in the game, my goal hopefully is to start working on my own, hopefully within the next year or so. Probably what I would be doing is like cabinet installs, which is kind of what I do right now with the company I work for. I would just be probably working for them as like an independent contractor instead of an employee. But I also did a lot of pretty cool stuff for like set design and things like that. And I'd actually really like to start a company that kind of does things like that for churches and things. You know, churches kind of tend to want stuff that's a little bit, that has design elements in it and things like that. And I wouldn't mind getting back into doing something like that. And I can also make custom stuff. So, but woodworking's basically been my bread and butter for the past several years. And cabinetry specifically for the last four or so. But what I went to school for was learning the Bible. And part of the reason why I came up with this idea is that I realized that going to Bible college only really gives you the opportunity to work for a church, maybe, and it doesn't equip you that much. And my dad was a pastor of a small church, and I learned that in most instances, being a pastor in a small church means that you have a lot more responsibility beyond just the preaching. And some of that involves things like maintaining the building, but also just, depending on the size of the congregation and who's there, you might just be the person that has to help the people in need. And as a pastor's kid, I certainly spent a lot of times helping my dad fix stuff that was broke in people's houses. A little bit of everything, plumbing and drywall and carpentry and painting and any of that kind of stuff. And a lot of cleaning up yards and helping people move and helping people empty out their house and all sorts of stuff like that. So part of the goal is also that people that might be interested in working for a church or something like that, there's some practical skills that you really, a lot of times people don't realize they need until they need them. And this is a way to kind of get them involved in thinking about this stuff. So anyway, I don't want to take too much more time tonight because I do have to wake up at like 4:30 in the morning. But just wanted to get this out there, so the link is out there and people can check it out. And if you subscribe to the channel, I will be putting out some more content. I'll say probably on Saturday. I'll set a premiere for the next video to come out on Saturday and be rolling stuff out fairly quickly. But will the Tectonic School renovate Grim Grizz house? Absolutely. I would love to make that a thing that happens. The link should be in the description, I believe, if I did this right in StreamYard. I'll put it in the chat too. Although Grim Grizz is already subscribed. Some people kind of have been in the background have gotten a little bit of the preview already. Howdy, Chad. I'm not going to be on for much longer, but if you want to come on, you're more than welcome to. So, yeah. But anyway, I wanted to get this out because in less than 2 weeks, I will have a new member of my household here. So, which means that some of the bigger scripted videos are going to be a little tougher to do. But because I should be home a little bit more helping out, I may have more time to do interviews and such. So please, somebody come talk to me. Not right now, but I'd like to set up some chats to kind of make sure the content is able to keep coming. And I have a lot more pastor friends to reach out to than I do people that work in the trade specifically, although I have some. So, but if you know someone, then send them my way. Hello, sir.
Hey there, guy.
You're out and about late in the evening here.
It's a little late, so I think 9 something.
Yeah.
About 9 o'clock. Just leaving my home group right now. Grim Grizz would be very disappointed in me for doing stream yard while driving. But I just wanted to drop in and say, hey, congratulations to Tectonic School going on, man. This is great.
Thank you. Yeah, I kind of got to that point of I should schedule a thing and make it all official. And I said, no, that's not my way. I'm just going to drop it out here on the internet and we'll go from here. So
ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Yeah. So,
yeah, dude. Anyhow,
Chat GPT can now build houses. So I guess we're going to be out of a job.
Oh, screw that. Although I did see a weird thing came across my feed called OpenAI, and I was like, why is this on my feed, dude? So it's like, I think it's a website that they make a bunch of different stuff. I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's on the YouTubes.
Yeah, is that one? That was like one of the ones that did art first before, like, I think they did that.
Yes.
Yeah. I gave up on the AI art because it just never would give me the pictures that I wanted. So it can't read my brain. So apparently.
Yeah. Well, apparently there's one I wanted to try to do, but I didn't have the patience. I don't have a computer either, so if I can't do it on a phone, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
But apparently it's called Mid Journey or something like that. Who cares?
Yeah.
So what kind of projects you got going on right now?
Oh, right now I have not much, but preparing for this new child to come.
And then, you got a new child coming.
Yes, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So,
did we know this already?
I've said it a little bit here and there. I mean, yeah. So I will be more outnumbered from 2 daughters to 3 daughters. So,
oh man,
that's good. It's kind of easier now because I'm like, well. Because people are like, oh, you're disappointed, like you're disappointed you're not having a boy, and I'm like, well, I don't know. Like now I know how to do girls, like so this is like the same, but like having a boy would be like totally different now. So
yeah. Well, are you guys gonna continue to try to multiply
Uh, that is, I don't know. It's up more or less up to my wife. She's supposed to have a C-section. Our first baby was an emergency C-section, and then like once you do that, they typically want to keep doing it that way. So that means every time we
Yeah.
have a kid, she has to have a surgery with like an 8-week recovery, which is kind of not like, that's like, well, that's more that's a bigger ask for me to just be like, let's have another kid, than
Well, I mean,
you know
dude, come on. We live in the patriarchy, and they have to do what we tell them to do anyways, so it's all good.
well, I just say, whatever, it's up to the Lord. He's the decider. So
Of course.
yeah.
I'm just being a weirdo. What
No,
else
well, I
is
mean,
new?
well, I think the thing is like, I definitely like feel like it's like having kids is crazy. Little kids are a lot of work and all that stuff, but at a certain point, you know you really have more they're kids for less time than they are adults, and so then you have more of a relationship with your kids as adults than you do with them as kids. And I think at the end of people's lives, very few, I don't think anybody says, I wish we had less kids, but I know a lot of people tend to say, I wish we had more,
Right.
so that's kind of the perspective I'm trying, so
Right.
but I'm very happy to have 3. At least that way I feel like we're increasing our overall like number, like, so
I imagine back in the day when people had like 10 kids, the kids just took care of the kids a lot.
yeah, I think it does kind of work that way at a certain point, because once you have like a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old and a 13-year-old and a 12-year-old, and then it's like, whatever, those, they can all take care of a baby pretty easy,
Right.
toddlers and stuff. So yeah.
Cool, man. Any projects at work? Any new projects at work, or that you're working on at home?
Well, I'm supposed to also remodel our kitchen while I'm taking some time off of work to help with the baby. I don't know how well that will go, but hopefully I'll get at least some of it done, some sections of it.
Yeah.
But that might be, maybe I'll try to film some of that and put it up there, like you've been doing with some of your projects. So
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I just started at doing residential stuff, and so that's my regular gig now.
yeah,
And it was quite stressful. It still is a little stressful, but I'm gonna get better at it, and already am. And I like the next this bathroom I'm working on now. It'll be nice to just make another little video posting the different stages. Maybe I'll do like a couple of them. Like I'll do a stages short video, and then I'll do a final short video. I like the shorts.
yeah.
One of the shorts I made the other day made like 1,400 views in a day. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't even know.
Yeah, they definitely because I've only done a few, and yeah, the couple that I've done like have gone crazy like that. So it definitely is. I know I got to do some of that with this new channel, because that's the thing that really they're like YouTube's pushing. So
Yeah. Well, I thought for sure that PBK's laughing short would be like at least 1,000 views by now, but it doesn't. It's only got like 25. Apparently, YouTube doesn't like Paul Vanderklay.
Yeah, I did see it. I saw it. I thought it was good. I do enjoy his laughing. So yeah. So are you? Is it new homes you're doing, or?
It might be. So far, it isn't. So the company I work for has 3 divisions. They have a construction, or like a construction division, like where they do framing and stuff. Carpenters, I guess, a carpenter division, a plumber division, and a tile division, all in one company. And we do a lot of remodels. That's, I guess, the bread and butter. And so, I guess at some point, I mean, we will do new stuff, but there's just a lot of model stuff. So, like, I'm actually making this was the project that would terrify me going into the trade, which was making shower pans from scratch. You know, having to do the put in the PVC liner, and then waterproofing everything in that way, and then the walls, and then making the mud pan out of dry pack cement. I just it really nerve-wracked me, because it's like, if you don't do this right, you're gonna have
you have to
problem
have like
with the water.
they have to grade down to the drain, right?
That's not the concern as much for me, because that's really simple. I like, maybe I'll do a video on that for you and show you how to do it. It's really simple, but the terror is, if you get a hole in that PVC liner, because it's basically just a plastic blanket that you put in there, and then you fold it up just right,
Yeah.
and pin it to the wall to make basically like a tub, a liner, so that it keeps the water in. If you don't have that thing done right and connected to the drain correctly, I mean, that's what makes me nervous. And so that mixed with neurotic tendencies is just marvelous.
I have a few of those. I grab scraps or whatever of that, like, thick blue liner that they use for those, because it's great for, like, putting down on stuff to protect the countertops and stuff, if I'm, like, painting or whatever, or painting the cabinets.
Sure.
So, yeah, but I'm sure you'd do okay.
So doing
with
that,
it's pretty tough material though, so it's pretty sturdy stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, the fears I have, I mean, I think most fears that we have, I would guess, are borderline irrational.
Yeah.
And then you have that, and then you start to amplify that with different kinds of temperament. It just makes things a little. It's like, well, Chad, and I can pause and say, Chad, the truth about this is, if you do this a couple of times, it's going to be just fine. You'll know how to do it, and everything will be great.
Yeah. Yeah, I always feel usually it's like, once you do something like 3 or 4 times, then it's like not a big deal anymore. But,
right. Great skill to have. I mean, you would think, wow, this is a really important thing to be able to do, to be able to make a shower from scratch. Like, that should be like a really high-end skill.
Yeah.
And then the more you do it, it's like, it's not really that hot. That's not that different. It's like just kind of complicated Legos, maybe. It's not that bad. So, yeah, people are happy when they see it and all that.
Yeah, the one you showed me was looking good. You got to make that little like that little soap dish in the wall too.
Yeah, that's equally nerve-wracking. Only because, again, not having done it, it's like, oh, and then like, I get this feeling, oh, I have to know how to do everything. If I don't do it, if I don't have the knowledge, then I'm going to be screwed. And it's like, there's a guy that is basically retired, but the union will allow him to work up to 700 hours a year. And this guy is working next to me directly until I don't need him anymore. So, like, it's really nice to have this dude, because, like, this company wants somebody that's going to be sticking around for like the next 20 years, basically.
Yeah, that's good.
And so he's pretty good, and he's really nice dude. He can teach pretty well, and basically just let me do what I need to do. And just having him there is a comfort. It helps build confidence, which is, you know, it makes me think about a lot of stuff. Like if you have a guide with you, it can really help with confidence and you know, not cockiness, but just assurance. And I think that that can kind of scale all over the place. You know, like if even in discipleship, I mean, or like even sponsorships. Like I don't have all the answers, but I'm right here, man. Chill. You know, you don't have to drive yourself crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of weird. Like, yeah, it's kind of weird because, like, at my job, I like suddenly became like the person that was the most experienced at some point. So now I have to like do all that. But then it's weird. It's weird because then it's like some of the jobs we only have to do like, I don't know, maybe 3 times a year or something. So then it's like, oh, I gotta like help somebody else learn how to do it, and then like I have to remember like, wait, how do you do this again? And like sometimes some things it's like I haven't even necessarily done it the same way
Right.
every time, you know? Because like you know what always happens is like you'll do something and then you're like driving away and you'll be like, oh, I should have done this thing instead.
Yeah.
But then if you remember that and then you do it the next time, and then you know it's like, oh, it works. So
Well, one of the best ways I've learned in learning in general is showing somebody else. Like that's, you know, repetitions are huge. It
yeah,
just help. You know, and now that you can film stuff, so like that'll be helpful too if you have a catalog of how you do different things. I mean, that's what I'm going to be hopefully doing here with some of this stuff. So merely I can remember.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. I'm like, wait, should I do this? Like, if I don't know. I was thinking about like I could do some stuff, and then, but then I'm like, I don't know if like, I don't know how my company will feel like if they find out like I have like a whole YouTube thing or whatever. Well, because there's definitely a lot of videos of me in my truck, on company time. Which I mean,
well, even if like some of those things are just recorded procedures for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have to do anything that complicated. My job's kind of weird because I am always fixing stuff. Like, so, and most of the time, some of the times it's stupid. Like some of the times it would be like so much easier to just replace like a whole cabinet, but like the builder would have to pay more money for that. So instead, they make me do something that takes like 4 hours instead to fix it.
Right.
Instead of just replacing the whole thing. So, and it's probably honestly not, it's not as good as it would be if they just replaced it, depending on what it is. But
yeah,
it's usually the countertop people. They like put the counters on top of the cabinet and then they like slide them into place, and then the cabinets just go and they like fall apart. But then that's really hard to fix when you have a countertop on top of the cabinet. So,
oh, dude, yeah, for sure. Especially if it's heavy granite and it's already silicone down and
yeah.
Well, listen, I'm probably gonna lose you. I just wanted to drop in and say hello and say congratulations, and I'll be looking forward to talking to you again soon, buddy. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.
All right. Well, I'm gonna end this because 4:30 a.m. That's when I have to wake up. So anyway, subscribe. Thank you all. You can get in contact me with there on Discord if you want to talk, if you want to do a chat, a little interview. That would be great. So I'll hopefully hear from some folks soon. Thank you.